Okay, next on the agenda. This was interesting, wasn't it?
Yes.
Nalla katla mein kahiye. Thank you. So, what we have next is an interesting panel. It's a panel discussion, need of an aspiring entrepreneur. Is it idea? Is it a partner, mentor, or funding? So, I'm going to hand this over to the moderator for this session, and she will introduce the two panelists. We have Nishta Venkatesh, high school junior. Please come up and take it from me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nishta Venkatesh. I'm a junior at Franklin High School, interested in business and international relations, and I will be the moderator for the Aspiring Entrepreneurs panel. So, without further ado, can I introduce the two panelists, Ms. Ritu Gopi and Ms. Gita Chengappa. So once again, we have Mr. Gopi, who is a co-founder of 361 Degree Minds, which is a technology-led learning and education company. We also have Ms. Gita Chengappa, who is the general manager at the Incubation Center of Trichy Science and Entrepreneurs Parks. So before we begin, another round of applause, please. So for the first question, I think we all know that a single idea is what makes any venture. So how important are ideas to an aspiring entrepreneur, and how do we select these ideas? Okay.
I see an entrepreneur as a person with an idea already, and he desires to make the idea work and impact the people around. So an idea is a part of an entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur. But if you are still an aspiring entrepreneur and you don't have one simple idea, that's also possible. So I would say that among the ideas that you're passionate about, I think you should choose that idea in which you are very good at. You have the competency to work on it and make it work. And you don't depend on any borrowed expertise or an external expertise to work on it and make it work. So that's my viewpoint on how to select an idea.
Hello everybody, I'm Gita here, and I've had an exciting career of nearly 20 years of making people with ideas live their dream and realize their dream. So I feel ideas are an extension of one's dream, and it's very critical that you think innovatively, because that's something that we look at. So be the first, dream large, be the first, and be unique. I think that's something that will really take you places. So when you ideate, have an idea, ask yourself the right questions. I think some of the speakers also were talking about asking the right questions and how will this idea sort a problem that exists. Sometimes I tell students to keep an idea notebook, which would, when you're traveling, when you're here or there, you could just make a note of it. So ideas are important to change the world, and we need you all to think differently.
Yeah, definitely. And what are your views on having a partner in the entrepreneurial journey?
That was great. I have a lot of partners. He's also a co-founder of the company, so the journey of entrepreneurship has been great. But having a partner is not a must. If you have a partner who thinks like you, is like-minded, who in addition to that, if he has complementary skills, it will be a great fit for him. But if any of these things is missing, then it's better not to have any partner at all. You can start the journey, and along with it, you definitely need people who have other skills to make a business function. That's a different thing, but you can start the journey alone. It's possible.
I think entrepreneurship is a lot about also networking, and and also having institutions like us, because basically when you want to do engineering or you want to do law, you have dedicated organizations for that. So when you want to do entrepreneurship, there are incubators which will take you along the journey. So we are in many ways it's a public-private partnership at work when you talk about an incubator. There are certain government policies that are supportive of young entrepreneurs wanting to start up, and the tool which is used by the government, I think as of now, the best tool available is through an incubator. So we are able to deliver certain value adds to young entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. Like our journey has been over a 30-year-old period, and by now we have kind of, though our services are kind of customized to each one's requirement, but there are broad packages that we have. When we talk of business strategy, because if you were to look at the young people here in this crowd, predominantly would be technology based. So they are very strong on technology. There's nothing that we can really help out on that. Or there would be areas where we are actually seeking right now in this forum for people of you to partner with these youngsters, people who have gained, I think Mr. Chengappa is here, who's had so much of expertise. Many of you all have so much of expertise as entrepreneurs in various fields, and I'm sure this would really help aspiring and budding entrepreneurs back home in Tamil Nadu, where we are looking at a knowledge share between people like you who have a lot of expertise with the aspiring entrepreneurs. So definitely you all would be great partners to the young entrepreneurs out there.
Kind of we are answering the same question from two different perspectives. So it's interesting for me.
Just to go off of that last question, how do you feel or compare having a mentor compared to like having a partner in the
Wow, mentor is great. Actually, mentors can add life and years to your entrepreneurial journey. If a mentor who is also an entrepreneur and who can understand your area of work, what your dream is, having a mentor can really teach you a lot of things without you making the mistakes. You can learn a lot from his mistakes or her mistakes. And I think mentor is always welcome. At any point of time in the journey, in the starting stage, when you're growing and expanding, you are increasing your market, wanting to go to new cities, new countries, mentor is always welcome.
I think I agree. I can't agree more with you. Mentors are important, and anyone who's been there and done that can certainly add certain value and certain perspective. Though I really do feel that mentors may not have all the answers to a certain question. I mean, how can you solve all that the entrepreneur wants to do? But definitely being there for a young and aspiring entrepreneur whom he can access at some point, or a mutually flexible time would definitely help.
So the next step in kind of developing entrepreneurship is having some sort of means for funding or donation. So what has been your experience with fundraising?
My experience, because I run a company which started in 2006, the initial funding was done on a one-off with 3 founders, co-founders. We were classmates at BITS Pilani, so we knew each other very well, we were friends. So we started this company with our own money and grew the company a little bit, and then family and friends put their money in, trusted us with their funds, and then we grew a little more, and then we were fortunate to find a strategic investor who saw their future and our future together. We saw the synergy, so we got strategic funding. So far, we've not been funded by a VC or an angel investor, but my experience with funding has been great.
Actually, for a great idea, I don't think there is dearth of funds. I mean, that's something that we always believe in. But that being said, I don't think it's that easy also to put it across to the right people. You need to be at the right place at the right time for people to really hear you out. In our experience back home in India, we get a lot of ventures coming in, but not all of them are really ready to pick up those funds and move really fast. So part of the duties of an incubator is to prepare the ground and prepare the venture really to be able to come to a certain level where they can accept those funds and really grow fast. So as part of our business mentoring, we do take in really raw ideas, build them through the initial stages till they do come to a stage when they can take up the funds. The other thing is Government of India also has certain schemes which are very good, which TREC-STEP has been a development lab which has experimented a lot of these funding schemes upfront. Like government decided to use us as a medium through which they could park funds with us, and that could be given. So initially when ideas, especially innovative ideas, haven't had a market really to boost or show, bankers or any other forms will be little suspicious of what they can deliver. So the initial capital is something that Government of India has provided. It's typically in the range of around $35,000 to around nearly $100,000, which we provide as seed capital. So this goes through several rounds, like before they can really reach the stage, and then they pitch before a panel, a committee, when committee takes a call as to which to fund. So it's very critical to help accelerate the growth of these ventures. So we are involved in seed funding.
That's very valuable information. So the last century has seen a lot of development for gender equality and the participation of women in various fields. So what has your experience been being a woman in business field, and have you had any challenges that you had to face in the past?
Firstly, I've never seen myself as a woman entrepreneur, but just an entrepreneur. And my clients, be it my clients or my colleagues or family members or anybody, they just saw me as an entrepreneur who's wanting to put an idea to work, and I've got a lot of respect and admiration. And the challenges for me have been what it would have been for any entrepreneur, a man entrepreneur or a female entrepreneur. So nothing different for me.
Yeah, I do echo that, because I feel entrepreneurship or trade actually knows no gender. It's the market that dictates your success. That being said, yes, historically there have been a lot of cultural issues which have kept women out of being entrepreneurs. We all know that women's access to collateral like land or money was always checkered, and it's not been a smooth and easy way that she could really have access to this, which was required. In those days, when it was a resource-intensive kind of venture, where a lot of physical space and big, large companies had to be set up, she did find herself a little disadvantaged, but then I wouldn't say completely disadvantaged. There have been real good success stories earlier as well. But now, with the growth of technology, I think there are a lot of areas that have made things slightly more easier, but then at the same time, as you say, there are fields like IT or biotechnology or nanotechnology. These have opened out a lot of mind space, which gives women a level playing field actually to participate. That's what I feel.
And for the next question, Gita, I know that you're focused a lot on promoting entrepreneurship rather than just the field by itself. So what are some preferred entrepreneurial characteristics, and what does it take to actually become a successful entrepreneur?
In fact, as one of the speakers earlier had also said, there are a lot of people who aspire to become entrepreneurs, and they do approach us. We do also reach out to a lot of people, so typically maybe we reach out to around 25 to 30,000 people annually, and from which ultimately about 40 or 50 think about starting their venture seriously. So this is the kind of, for everyone who comes, I would say that we do a lot of coaching and pre-incubation counseling, because some of them come with certain ideas which would really not scale or would not really work in the market. So we need to tell them to go back and work on that. Some people do come back twice, thrice. There are people who just don't come back at all. So, that's the kind of people whom we work with. We do look at what is the innovation in that. Is that person really capable of taking it forward? What is his commitment? While facing adversity, is he going to stick around? Is he going to persevere with his idea? Does he have that much of commitment to his idea? These are some of the criteria that we do look into. We have of course, for purposes, because we need to really do a lot of research, so we do a 21 to 23 point grid and look into what his background is, how has he developed this idea, and all that. That's there for the academic purposes and also for our own research. But at the back of everything, how innovative is it, and how committed are you to the idea is what we basically look at.
So unfortunately, we only have time for one last question. So for both of you, how could you describe your experience as an entrepreneur thus far, and what has it taught you?
Being an entrepreneur has taught me a lot. It has been a very enriching journey for me, because it has taught me, one is, it has tested my perseverance, it has tested my belief in my idea, and I think that, just linking it to the previous question, that what should an entrepreneur have to make it big? An entrepreneur has to be perseverant. I mean, they have to be convinced about or have the belief in their own idea first, and then only they can convince others. So my journey has been, I've learned a lot of balance between the opposite, like balance between the current reality of the business, as well as dreaming about the future, envisioning the future, which people might call impractical, so practicality and impracticality, or a vision that is not yet seen. A balance between my professional life and the personal life, because I work with my husband, so there's a lot of role commitment I have to keep, those balances I have to keep in mind. And I think I still have a lot to learn and a lot to achieve. And I want to make a lot of difference with my ideas. I want a lot of people to be impacted by those ideas. Thank you.
For myself, yes, it's been a very exciting journey, but going forward as TREC-STEP, we've been a 30-year-old organization. We've worked with some of the best national and international development agencies. We were promoted by multi-stakeholders, by the Government of India, by Government of Tamil Nadu, IDBI, ICICI, and others. We worked with the World Bank, we worked with the European Union, we worked with UN. Now we are entering our scale-up stage. We are the first incubator to be identified by the NITI Aayog, which is the present policy-making body in India, to scale up operations, and we are going beyond Trichy into expanding our incubation footprint. We are moving to Chennai. We are working with the Tamil Nadu Foundation and with ATEA. And so I'm looking forward to 20 more years of excitement and having to work with many of you all, contributing your knowledge to developing more entrepreneurs.
So that's all the time we have. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, Nishta. Thank you, panelists. May I request Devi and Usha to please hand over a plaque of appreciation to Ms. Gita, Chengappa, and Ritu, Gopi. 1 second. We have the photographer rushing back here. Thank you. So, thank you. From ATEA, we'd like to encourage youth to get involved, and this was just, just to get that message across.